No, okay, no. Word document. Okay, the bar graph gives information about the growth of world wealth in the period from 2006 to 2015. Moreover, it projects, when it say it projects, what does it mean? What do you think it means? It projects. Not only shows, it's kind of a prediction. So it predicts. Based on statistical data, it predicts it, not randomly, not just a random prediction out of a gut feeling or intuition. Projection is a prediction based on actual data that we've got and is solid. Yeah. So it projects the expected growth of wealth in the period from 2016 to 2025. Summarize information by selecting and reporting the main features and make comparisons where relevant. So we see that we need to summarize, first of all, select and report the main features, but we shouldn't be too descriptive, meaning that if we can be more analytical in terms of making some comparisons, that's the ideal. Whenever we can compare things, we should do that. Not just describe, but compare as well. Compare and contrast. We should write at least this number of words, but if we exceed it, it's not the end of the world. But we should make sure we don't exceed the time so that we can finish the other tasks of the test. If we are too fast in the reading comprehension, let's say, we can take a bit time. We can take some more time to do this task, but we have to balance it out later by being fast in the reading comprehension or in the writing task too, by being faster. So, first of all, obviously you've got to write an introduction and a conclusion. Okay. This writing task 1, it's not a typical essay, of course. It's something different, yeah. And it's like a scientific report, but without the bullet points. So you report the numbers and the trends and the important points. So it doesn't have the form of an essay, of a typical essay, and that's why we have to be a little bit careful. If I ask you to tell me an easy way to start off, what would you tell me? How can you, yeah. So the World Web in the period 2006 to 2015. Okay, I love it. But have you just repeated the rubric, or have you changed anything? You used your own words as well. That's wise to do. Okay, so let's say, is it okay to just say, repeat the rubric, or do I need to be careful with that? I want to hear more opinions on that.
Words. Teacher.
Somebody's talking from the people who are online, but it wasn't clear.
I think that we have to paraphrase some words from the title of this writing task, but not to paraphrase any word, like to spend a lot of time to find synonyms for each of these title words.
Yeah, so you do your best whenever possible, but if you think that your paraphrasing destroys the authentic meaning, then you shouldn't be doing it. So it has to be careful paraphrasing, not to distort the meaning, because there are some keywords, guys, which shouldn't be replaced, because keywords are keywords. For example, if we speak about dollars, dollars are dollars. We shouldn't paraphrase that. If we speak about percentages, percentages are important. We shouldn't paraphrase something that's foundational, something that's basic for giving the right information. Okay, so just we have to paraphrase what we are allowed to paraphrase, not the keywords. Okay.
Yes.
If you can find a very exact synonym that will not alter, distort the original meaning, okay, I'm okay with that. But if you feel that your synonyms paraphrase slightly the meaning, you shouldn't be doing it. You should avoid it at all cost. Okay. So it's better having a lesser paraphrase, less paraphrasing. It's better doing that, having less, than having too much paraphrasing and having a distorted meaning. Okay. So can we say, if we say the bar graph, can we change it? Can we change that expression? The bar graph. Can we say, for example, instead of gives, something else? What do you think?
Yes.
What about provides? Instead of gives, can we write provides? Can we write, instead of gives, shows? If we want to presents,
illustrates,
if we want to illustrates. If you have some more, you can give it to me. If I think it's right, I'm gonna write it down. So these words are nice. That's why I wrote them. What?
Illustrates or illustrate.
Have you heard what Michael said? Because I didn't understand. Can you say it again?
I said demonstrate.
Have you understood? Illustrates. Michael Mu, you said illustrates. Okay, I'm gonna look at your mouth. Tell me again.
I'll fix my connection and come back.
Now you switched off the camera. Huh? What did you hear? You haven't heard anything. Κωνσταντίνο, can you figure out what Michael is trying to tell us?
Νομίζω ότι να κάνουμε reconnect.
You need to reconnect. Okay. That's why, because the connection is too bad. That's why I don't understand anything of what he's saying. Okay. It's too bad. Yeah. His camera is good, but the connection is bad. Okay. So the bar graph provides.
These words is it's not specific. It's like can we have only one way to write it down, and in each of the writing task one, just to have a specific way to start the first line.
Κωνσταντίνο, it's on your benefit to remember as many synonyms as possible, because you don't know. For example, if the rubric gives you the word illustrates, you will find another one. You'll say presents. If the rubric says presents, you will say shows. If the rubric says shows, you say provides. So you're trying to avoid the word given in the rubric. So the more synonyms you know, the higher the chances are to be able to replace it with another word. Because the rubric doesn't always say gives. It can say illustrate. So if it says illustrate, you will say gives or you say presents. But there is a standard way of starting the introduction. The standard way is you are supposed to say what that particular graph does. What is the purpose of the graph? What information it contains and how can you do it? What is the graph about? How can you do it? By looking at the rubric. No, but you have to participate at just a moment. I can hear myself. Can you switch off and on your microphone for a moment because I can hear myself?
Yes.
Yeah, now it's okay. So the bar graph provides, when we have the word information, how can we skip that word and use another one? Anything? Gives statistics, okay, something more similar. Then it gives the data. The word information is the same as data. You can always replace it. You can always replace the word data with the word information. Okay, so illustrates data about what? Guys, do you want me to give you the answer or do you want me to elicit the answer from you? Do you know what elicit means? Elicit? There are two ways of teaching, okay? The first way is a teacher-centered lesson, where the teacher says everything to the students, and the students just listen. The teacher-centered lesson. And there is a student-centered lesson where the teacher asks the students questions, and the students try to answer the questions themselves before the teacher gives the answer. Scientifically proved, one of them is better than the other. Which one do you think is the best way of teaching? It's a topic that may fall in the essay, right? That's two. Which way of teaching is the best? Teacher-centered way of teaching or the student-centered way of teaching?
Second.
The student-centered. Why? You are not passive listeners. It's hard for you to lose your concentration when I'm running a student-centered lesson, because I force you into thinking all the time. So I am trying to elicit the information from you. If I just give you the answers ready in the plate, you're not going to remember them very well. But if you give me the answers instead, and if you make mistakes, I correct your mistakes and I improve your answers, then you're going to leave from this classroom today and you will remember everything. So please, when I ask you, try to give me a synonym to that word. Try to tell me, what would you write there? Please try to participate because I want to see how you think. And you will give me the opportunity to improve your way of thinking and your answer. Okay? If I give you a ready-made answer, you have nothing to gain. You're not gonna gain something other than passive information. No, I don't want to do that. Okay, give me the chance to run a student-centered lesson. Okay, not a teacher-centered lesson. You are the teacher. I'm not the teacher. You are the teacher. No, show me what you know. Show me what you can do. And if there is something I can do to improve you, I'm going to do it. Be sure about that. Okay, so it gives information, illustrates information, data on what?
Proportion, percentage.
About them, can you say it again?
Can you hear me now? Like my voice?
I can hear you better now. I can hear you more clearly.
I wrote an introduction. Do you want me to read it for this?
I want you to read it. Yes, I do want you to read it, and I want to type it down. My keyboard is. I have one key missing from my keyboard, so I can't type very fast. But I want you to, if possible, before you give me your introduction, I want you to tell me, give me a synonym to the word growth.
Increase or make.
Yes. So the bar graph provides data about the increase. Guys,
Maybe
Guys, yeah. Michael, increase or maybe
search,
search.
rise, improvement.
Exactly. This is something that you covered with Mrs. Kula. These words were given to you in the previous pages and you covered it with Mrs. Kula. So Michael remembers those words. Bravo, Michael. So about the increase, Michael, I wouldn't say the search. I wouldn't say the search. It's a subtle search. It means a sudden rise. Like you,
Right.
when you use this word to describe a sudden rise, a sudden increase. So keep it for later if you see something more specific when it comes to a sudden change, upward trend. Okay. So I'm going to keep this for later.
Okay.
Search equals to a sudden steep rise. I have to unzoom the page. Okay. So, but the letters are too small. I have to zoom in and zoom out all the time. Okay. So, these increase, rise, or improvement are very good synonyms to replace the word growth. Growth of what? Growth of what, people? Growth of world wealth. But I'm going to write it. But I want Michael and everyone else to tell me if they wrote something different other than that. Michael, because you did it, what have you written?
The bar graph demonstrates the average percentage growth of wealth between the year 2006 and 2015.
So Michael said the bar graph demonstrates. Is it correct? It's perfect. Data about the can you repeat?
Growth of wealth the year it's the average percentage growth of wealth between the year 2006 and 2000.
Michael,
Yes.
To run a smooth lesson, please send me a picture of your text. I want everyone to be able to see.
Yes, okay.
On WhatsApp, please.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's gonna be better for everyone because I think that that Constantinos is not able to understand fully. Yeah. So until Michael sends me the picture of what he wrote, I want to ask you, we speak about the wealth of what? Of the world, yes?
Is it clear or should I?
I've seen it. I have it in front of me. Insert picture, downloads. Okay, I have it. So Michael said the bar chart illustrates the average percentages growth of wealth between the year. Do you guys like this? What do you think? Sorry, Michael, for the exposure, but I think it's going to be useful. Do you like what you see? Do you agree? To what extent do you agree with it? Why the pens are not working? Pens. So the bar chart illustrates the average. Can you say the average percentages or the average percentage? What do you think? The average percentage of growth of wealth, or it's better to say of world wealth growth. And also, Michael, you've missed the fact that it's the world wealth. So, Constantino, do you clearly understand that we speak about the world wealth?
Yes, and this.
Do you think it's okay for Michael to skip the world wealth, or is it important to include it in his writing?
No, if Michael write down about the world Asian, the regions, the different regions, then he maybe skip. He maybe is able to skip the world.
Yeah, but he hasn't. He's not mentioning the different regions.
Yes, so it has to put the word world.
And also, if you take a closer look at the table, I think it would be an omission not mentioning it, because the world wealth is one birth, Asia is another, Europe is another. So mentioning Asia, Europe, North America, and Africa doesn't give you an excuse not to mention the world wealth. So
Okay.
that's you guys. That's something that I wanted to say earlier, but I wasn't given the opportunity because I go slowly to explain everything. Is that the perfect introduction draws information from the legend. This is the legend, okay, and the words given in the axis. The y and the x axis. So here we've got some words, and these are important. So if you take this, you paraphrase it, and you combine it along with this and this, you've got the perfect introduction. Okay. So here we've got the average growth of world wealth. So is the world compared to, more specifically, each continent. Okay, separately. So let's go back to our example that we've got here. The bar chart illustrates the average percentage. So how does Michael know this is a percentage? How does he know? It's not given in the rubric. How does he know? It's not written here, but he can see it from the legend. So yeah, Michael did combine this and this. So because here we don't know it's a percentage, but we can see it from the table. Okay, so and from the table here. So you combine this and this and this, okay, and this as well. The legend, the information on the y-x axis, and the legend and the rubric of growth of world wealth. Okay, it's okay. Michael hasn't covered all the different continents, so we have to be more specific with that. So of the world wealth, as well as what? As well as that of different continents, such as well as that of Asia. What else? Take it in turns. Take it in the same order as you see it. Make it easy for the reader. Asia, Europe, North America, and Africa. Don't change the order for no particular reason. So as well as that of Asia, Europe, North America. What's next?
Africa.
And Africa. So here I'm touching which axis do I'm touching? The y, yeah? The y axis. When I continue to be complete in what I cover, I have to touch the other axis as well. The other axis speaks about the years. So the years. Excuse me? A good introduction takes it's not just the world wealth. It's the world wealth versus each different continent. Like is you see the graph describes the big picture as well as different parts of the big picture. It's not just it is not approached as if the different parts are a part of the bigger. The reader wants to show the general picture as well as the different parts of the world, what happens to the different parts of the world. So it's important to say, yes, we've got the big picture when it comes to the world wealth, but we've got another analysis for the different continents. So it's important to highlight that. So if the information, so I repeat, the introduction gives you a rubric. The rubric says a few things. You take the information from the rubric and you combine them with the legend and the information given on the X and Y axis to have a complete introduction, and that's it. So it's like a combination of elements, okay? Again, rubric, axis, and legend. That's these three elements create the perfect introduction, along with some paraphrasing of the rubric. Okay, is it stuck in your mind now? Is it clear? Okay. Do you have any questions? Okay, as well as that of Asia, Europe, North America, and Africa. So Michael is trying to touch upon the period. Is it correct to do so? Between the year or the years? There are many, Michael.
Years.
Yeah, is it correct to speak about 2006 between 2000 to the end 2015? And showed expectations about wealth increase, about Michael, people, when we say something for the first time, when we see something for the first time, we don't use the, okay? When we say something for the second time, we have to use a definite article because it's not the first time it appears. So the word wealth, this phrase here, is something that we see in the initial graph. So you shouldn't just say expectations about wealth, expectations about something specific that you have already mentioned and spoken about. So expectations about the do you think it's okay to say the wealth increase? Do you think it's okay? How would you say it in a different way? The expectation shows expectation, predictions, projections. It also presents the is it better now? Expectations about the predicted wealth increase. So it's something that you predict. Anyhow, yeah, I think it's okay. This is just adding to the meaning. Expectations about the predicted wealth increase starting from the year 2016. Would you write to or until? To 2025. I think I'm starting from where? From 2002. It sounds more natural to me to say starting from to. It sounds just more natural to me. I don't know why. Just sounds more natural. It's something that I've heard more often. Starting from this year to that year.
Teacher.
Yeah. Yes, Constantino. Constantino Mu.
Teacher, can we say after we wrote about between the 2006 and 2015 to said and also provides projections for the period of 2016 to 2025.
Yeah, that's amazing. I like it. And I will write it down. And it also provides, that's Constantino's version, and it also provides projections for the wealth increase. This is what you said, yeah?
Yes.
For the years.
For the period 2016.
For the period or for the decade. You guys, you know what's a decade? 10 years together. For the period or for the decade between 2016 to and 2025. So you don't need to write between and. You can just write, if you can write, you can say between and, or just write it straight away for the period 2016 to 2025. It's okay as well like that. It's good to have variety. So because Michael said earlier between and, I'm not going to repeat between and. I'm going to use that version. Try to have variety. Don't use the same expressions over and over again. Okay. So the predicted wealth increase starting from the year 2016 to 2025. Hello. Thank you. In the world, and also some continents, with some year hitting the highest and other had reached the plateau. So, guys, first of all, we see that up to this point, it's okay. So, Michael Moon, earlier you didn't mention the word. You didn't mention the word world. You didn't write that, but you mentioned it here.
Yes.
But it's better to write it here. It's better to write it here because here you refer to both cases, like the present situation and the future situation. The way you wrote it here seems like it's only about the projections that the projections are only around the world. The world has to do with the projections and not the other continents. So it's better to remove this from here and put it here to be more clear. Okay. Is it understandable what I'm? Is it? Do you understand why I make this? I'm making this suggestion to you. Okay. So it will be a little bit better if we set the world here instead of here. So Michael, try to Michael, try to speak about the continents here. So Michael Moon. Okay, now things are getting a little bit better, but because you said you put it in the end, it looks like this has to do, the projections have to do with the continents and the world. If you put it at the beginning, it's clear that it's about the projections in the current situation is about the world and the continents. So I would replace this. I would use this, okay? Also, I would also advise you to be more analytical because this information is given in the y-axis. So you can analytically outline them, not just say some continents, because they're given in the y-axis. So from the year 2016 to 2005, full stop. We don't need all this because we have added this. So you say Michael Moon with some hitting the highest and other reach the plateau. No. You know why not? This is something I would avoid doing in the introduction. Why do we avoid doing this data analysis in the introduction? Michael has given information that should be in the introduction, that should be in the main part and in the conclusion. So these are some main observations, Ratmanu. Okay. Rares, sorry, you're tired. These are some main observations. Do you want my coffee? Do you want to have my coffee? You sleepy? You want to have my coffee? You can have it. Feel free. So, guys, these are some main observations, and you can take advantage of the fact that Michael has thought about them and put them in the conclusion later, because the conclusion is about the main observations, not the detailed observations. So now we have covered the introduction, but I think I owe you something more clear. So please write down something more clear, not because that wasn't clear what Michael wrote, but because it's full of notes. So right, the bar graph shows the increase in world wealth as well as that of Asia. Can you give me the continents? Because I don't remember them. Europe,
North America,
and Africa. Between what years? Between 2006 and 2005. It also presents the predicted increase of wealth for the decade from 2016 to 2025. I will, Giorgio, can you switch on the light, please, and don't use your phone? Okay, so please take a screenshot of that.
Yes.
Okay. And then let's try to be a little bit more analytical. Michael, I will correct your essay. Don't worry. Just a moment. Has anybody else written something or not yet? You haven't written it. Sorry. So, Michael, I need to give some more time to the students to copy the introduction. Until they do it, let's speak about the main part. So, would you think you could be benefited from breaking the main part down, breaking it down into two different sub paragraphs? Yeah, why would that make sense? Why breaking the main part in two paragraphs would make sense in that case?
Because it would be easier to understand than putting in everything into just one.
It would be easier to understand because I can have these distinct topics. Each paragraph can have a distinct topic, separate topic. What are these two distinct topics?
2006, 2015.
Yeah, the current situation, the red bar, and the projections. Yeah. So in one, we can structure it like that. For example, in one paragraph, we can describe the current situation. And in the other paragraph, we can clearly speak about the future projections. So what happens in the period? Let's go. Do you guys, I'm gonna respect everyone and ask you, would you rather have a sample first and then correct the sample that Michael sent us, or would you go straight away and correct Michael's and then give the sample from the teacher?
Can we have first of all the sample, and after
we can speak about Michael's version. Okay. So, would you start with the projections first or with the current situation first? What would you do first?
current situation.
Current situation, yeah. So the current situation is about the period from 2006 to 2015. Yeah, 15, yeah. So in the current situation, in the period from 2006 to 2015, Georgia, would you start, what makes more sense? To start talking about the particular continents or focus on the world wealth? How would you start? What would make more sense? What is more important to mention first? The more important information come at the beginning and in the end. So you mentioned the important information at the beginning and in the end, in the conclusion, the main observations.
Yeah.
The world is more important, yeah? So let's start with the world. The increase, the big picture is more important always. The increase in world wealth okay, the increase was how much? What was the increase? Was 6%. Guys, is lethally important. Is so vital to always have a measuring unit. You must never write numbers, raw numbers. You shouldn't use raw numbers. You should never write 6, 7, 9, 10, 20, 30. Never. There's always a measuring unit. Other that is a currency, for example, dollars. Other is a percentage or anything else that can occur in a graph. Okay, you should never give just raw numbers. For example, if you have in a graph or in a table the word 160, most often, okay, they say it's in millions, okay, or trillions. We will do a sample like that. So you should never, or another measuring unit, kilometers, hours, meters, number of accidents. There's never something called a raw number. You should always define what that raw number is. What is it? Is it kilometers? Is it dollars? Is it pounds? Is it what is it? You understand? Is it a percentage? What is it? Now it's a percentage in this very scenario, in this very case, it's a percentage. Never forget to use the percentage symbol or write the word percent. Otherwise, you don't make sense. You will not make any sense, okay? So the increase in the world wealth was 6. What 6? Kilometers, units, pounds. What? What 6? 6%, okay? And now let's proceed. When you proceed to Asia, Europe, North America, and Africa, and you compare it against, because what is the best thing to compare, to give to be descriptive? What is the best thing, to be descriptive or compare? If you can, wherever you can, you use your mind and compare as much as possible. Yeah. So what would be the best idea? Giving the percentages one by one, like the world increase was 6%, in Asia it was 9%, in Europe it was 6%, in North America it was 5%, in Africa it was 5%. Are you being a critical thinker right now? You're just outlining information. No, find a way, please, to compare and contrast this information given to you. So I'm gonna find some similarities, some differences between these. How can you try to find similarities and differences, please? So when you wrote your writing task at home, have you spotted any similarities? When you compare the world wealth increase, the world wealth against Europe, for example, what do we see? Nicole. Yeah, exactly. So the world is the same as Europe. Exactly. Anything else that we can say?
The Asian is the first in this.
We can set, for example, an idea. I'm giving you an idea to know how to think. We can set the world wealth as a point of reference, okay? A point of reference. If we do that, we can then compare the other continents to that point of reference. So if we make a point of reference, then we can compare the others. So if we've got the world wealth as a point of reference, Simeona, for us, then we can say 2 continents exceeded the world wealth, our point of reference, by 3%. 1 continent didn't do as well as our point of reference, which is the world wealth. Do you get me? So let's go and do it. 2, Michael, have you understood when I said that it would be a nice idea to set a point of reference?
Better.
2 continents that exceeded this rate by 3%, and which continents exceeded this rate? Which continents did better than our point of reference, which is the world wealth? It exceeded means it did better, like it surpassed it. Yeah, 1 is Asia. Asia did better than the world wealth of the world, as well as Africa. But because you're speaking about the fact that they exceeded, you have to detract numbers. Afero, I detract. So it exceeded this rate by 3%, and how much? Africa. How much did Africa exceed the world? Yeah, at 1%. Okay, this is the magic word. The magic word comes now. So 3% and 1%. The magic word is respectively. Respectively. Do you know it? Or correspondingly. I'm going to explain it to you. So by 3% and 1%, the two continents that exceeded this rate by 3% and 1% respectively, and we're going to analyze this word, where Asia and Africa. So two continents that exceeded this rate by 3% and 1% were Asia and Africa. And what does it mean respectively, people? Respectively means correspondingly, which means that when I say respectively, I say, I'm going to write something down. Michael,
Yes.
comma, Konstantinos and Rares bought 3, 4, and 5 apples respectively. Okay, what does that mean? And we use a comma now, yeah, here. Okay, what does that mean? That Michael is the one who bought 3 apples. Konstantinos is the one who bought 4 apples. And Rares is the one who bought 5 apples. So why is this word so important? Why is it so important? Why is this word so important in this example? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you can give a lot of information without repeating the same words in one line, which is and you sound more practical, more technical. You know what you're expected to do. Yeah, and so instead of saying Michael bought 3 apples and Konstantinos bought 4 apples and Maris bought 5 apples, that's so boring, so banal, repetitive and dull. No. Michael, Konstantinos, and Rares bought 3, 4, and 5 apples respectively. Professional. You show that you're professional. Yeah, you know what you do. You know your technical words. So have you got any questions with this word when it comes to this word? Okay, if you can use it, it's very good. Don't overuse it. Use it where you can use it. So Asia had a rise of 3%, a difference of 3% in terms of improvement compared to the world wealth, and Africa 1%. We know because we use the word respectively. It's not in a scrambled order. It comes in the right order. The order where the numbers are mentioned and the order the words are mentioned do count when you use the word respectively. When you don't use the word respectively, the order you mention things doesn't count. Like it's not, the analogy is not there. Here there is an analogy. Here goes here. This goes for this. This goes for this. Okay, so that's the magic word. Magic word, respectively. So, we've used our point of reference and said some continents did better than the world. Any other comparisons that we can make? What about Europe? Yeah, exactly. So we can say there was one continent which had the same improvement. That was Europe. Bravo, 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 Arares. So Europe experienced a 6% increase, which is or rise or growth, which is the same as that of the world overall. So instead of saying the world wealth again, I can say the world overall to show that I have a rich vocabulary and to emphasize that it's about the overall world. And then we have to use some words that show comparison. For example, whereas, while. Okay, so whereas or while to show contrast. And this shows again that we're doing a comparison. So, Michael, do you feel that in today's lesson you're learning something new compared to what you've written? Okay, that's good, because I know that your every lesson is critical. Whereas, while what two continents haven't we spoken about at all, and why? First of all, we said there's some continents that were way better than the world. One continent was the same as the world, and two others. What happened to the others? The other two, Georgiano? They didn't do that well. Yeah.
What do you mean by two?
Yeah. Can you say it more loudly? They.
What do you mean by two?
It's just one. Yeah, just one. It's just one left. Sorry, it's North America. It's just one. Just one continent didn't do that well. Which was it? Yeah, exactly. So is it the continent that didn't do that well? I'm gonna write something in the wrong way for educational purposes, and I want you to correct it. Okay, I'm gonna make a purposeful mistake. Okay, so while North America was slightly lower at 5%. So if I say was slightly lower, and I don't say again than the world, is it implied annoyed? Yeah, was slightly lower because I'm using the but guys, it's important to be able to use the comparative and the superlative. What do you remember how to structure it? Because you want to make comparisons in this task. Was lower, was higher, it was the highest, it was the lowest, was higher than. Yeah, so don't forget your comparative and superlative. Okay, so it was slightly lower than the world at 5%, and I've purposefully made a mistake. Can you spot it? There is a big mistake in this sentence. Whereas North America was slightly lower. No, North America wasn't by, it was at 5%. So if you want to say by, you have to make the detraction. Guys, it's a different thing to say at, and it's a different thing to say by. If you say by, you need to say 6 minus 5 equals 1. So it's by 1%. So it was lower by 1% or was lower at 1%. Do you see the at 5%? Do you see the difference between the usage of the word by and at?
Yes.
Constantina. Okay. So both are correct. Be cautious how you use it. Okay, there is a purposeful mistake in this sentence.
Lowest was slightly lowest at 5%, like to make it superlative.
Constantino, do you understand what Michael said? What?
Yes, change the lower and make it lowest. Like to use the superlative.
That what we can say that the North America was the lowest of all the continents at 5%. Yeah, that's also correct, but that's not the mistake. It's wrong to say North America was the lowest. We have to say the. Okay. Was North America the lower or the lowest? Or was the increase of wealth in North America the lowest? Come on, people. Was the country such the lower or the increase of wealth in that country the lowest?
The increase.
Do you see the huge mistake I've done here on purpose? So is it North America that North America is low, or the situation that we describe in North America? Like, is North America low, or is the growth of wealth in North America low?
The growth of wealth.
Of course. So the increase of wealth in North America, be careful, while the increase is okay if you don't say of wealth, it's things mentioned, but here the whole subject of this paragraph, the thing that the part of this bar chart, the thing that it describes are not the continents themselves, is the increase of wealth in those continents. So don't speak about the continents, speak about the increase of wealth in the continents. Remember what you describe. You don't describe the people or the countries, you describe another parameter within those countries, which is the increase of wealth. And be careful, you don't describe the wealth as such, you describe the increase of wealth, because this bar chart speaks about the increase of wealth, doesn't speak about the wealth. So again, it would be a mistake if you say the wealth was lower. No, not the wealth was lower. The increase of wealth was no lower. Is the increase that you referred to, is the increase that you want to describe, is the increase that you care about, not the wealth, not the country, the increase of wealth. Do you get the subtle difference between the terms? Do you understand it? It's very important to make this subtle distinction, to highlight it, okay? So make sure you don't fall into such traps. Let's proceed to the next paragraph now. Now, Michael, you may be very well able to correct your own mistakes after the session. So yes, we've said that we have to speak about future projections, preferably in another paragraph. Okay? So can you give me a word to start with? Like, for example, when it comes to concerning, so concerning future projections, or if you want, when it comes to future projections, or maybe if you want, regarding future projections, because you may need to use these words many times. I don't want you to use the same word over and over again. So that's why I'm giving you alternatives. Regarding, concerning, when it comes to future projections. What do we speak about? Should we speak about the world overall first, or just start again with the different continents? we have to keep the structure. We have to keep the analogy. In the previous paragraph, we had a very tidied way of, mentioning things. And we said, first of all, we're going to speak about the main picture, and then we're going to refer to the specific continents. Fair enough. Now we need to be consistent. Don't create a mess. You need to be consistent and do the same thing again. So yes, darling, tell me. What, my dear? Tasos, I'm running a lesson with the adults and I shouldn't interrupt it. Can you come later? Yeah, I'm going to give you a hug, but don't interrupt the lesson, okay?
Oh, Andres is the leftist of Play for All.
Yeah, he does.
He's Lucas.
He's Mr. Play for All.
Lucas.
Yeah, his name.
Este se llama Έχετε δύο παιδιά.
Yeah, Alicia and Kyriaki.
Ναι.
Yeah. See you later. Sorry, that was a cute interruption. So, regarding future projections, the world's, we speak about the world, yeah? Average increase growth in wealth. Don't forget your subject. Well, don't forget where you refer to. We speak about the growth in wealth, the growth, not the wealth, the growth. That's the most important thing to remember. The increase, the growth. That's all we have to focus on. Yeah. Now we have to show that we can use words to refer to the future, hypothetically. So the word's average growth in wealth
is
expected, is supposed, should, okay? So should reach, it should reach what number? Have a look in your graph, Georgia, and tell me. Don't use your phone, darling. You're destroying yourself. Should reach 10% or otherwise is expected to reach. For example, is expected to reach 10%. When we say something, the best thing is to cover it in terms of the y and the x axis when you start saying something. And every time we change a paragraph, we have to be clear about our y and our x axis. So when it comes to our y axis, we are clear about our subject, which is the world's average growth, the world's, okay? When it comes to the y axis, to the x axis, the horizontal one, are we clear about where we refer to? This is the information within the graph. I refer to the x-axis. You want to go to the washroom, but first of all, tell me, I've started a new paragraph here. I've raised the point that I'm talking about the world's average growth when it comes to the y-axis. What have I forgotten to clarify? I haven't touched the x-axis at all yet. What is the x-axis about? About the years. Don't forget to be complete in what you say. Complete. Okay. You mean when you started another paragraph, future projections, about what years? Can you remind me? I need not go back and read again the introduction to remember what you're talking about. You need to be clear. Don't make reading a hassle for me. Make it clear. Clear is the easier it is to read, the higher the marks you get. The easier it is to understand, the higher the marks you get. I need not go back and read the introduction to remember the period for the projections. You need to mention it again. You need to go to the toilet. So the y-axis, Rares, you're right. In the decade 2016 to 2025. Am I right?
Yes.
Okay. And then, what would you do? Would you start describing Asia, Europe, North America, Africa in a descriptive way? Would you start doing comparisons? How can you make comparisons?
Maybe start with the highest expected. Start with Africa, and then compare it to the rest.
That's a good approach. That's a good approach, yeah, because we did it earlier. So we can say about what's higher than the point of reference. We've got the blue line, the world wealth, it's 10%. Asia is higher at 12%. And Africa is much higher at 14%. Okay, so Asia and Africa. Asia and Africa, or Asia's and Africa's increasing wealth? Should I say Asia and Africa is expected to reach? I'm going to make the same mistake again. Africa's increase in wealth, not the country itself, and not the wealth itself. Asia's and Africa's increase in wealth is what is expected to reach. Asia's and Africa increase in wealth is expected to reach 12%. And am I right? Asia is 12%. Yeah, and
14.
the highest,
Africa, 14%.
the highest number, which is 14%, the highest growth. The highest growth is 14%. The highest growth, which is 14%. Or you can say which is or add 14%, it's okay, because it's a static number. And then the magic word, correspondingly or respectively. However, Asia's and Africa increasing wealth is expected to do much better. In particular, they are predicted to, I added this sentence to show that I'm comparing, okay, to do much better. In particular, they're predicted to reach 12% and the highest growth, which is at 14%, correspondingly or respectively, to show that the order in which the countries are mentioned does count. And then, what should I say? What about North America? Is the lowest?
Yes, again.
Okay, so in contrast, North America I'm not talking about North America. I'm talking for the rate. So the rate predicted for North America is much higher or lower? Much lower. You can, if you don't want to write at again, you can put it in the parentheses, in the brackets, 6%, and slightly higher or lower than Europe's rate, which is 9%. Slightly higher or lower, think and tell me, than Europe's rate. Of 9%. What time is our lesson over? 7. Okay, we have to finish. Okay, so let's see. In contrast, the rate predicted for the rate is okay to say because we need, the rate speaks about the rate of growth. Okay, so it's okay to say the rate. The rate predicted for North America is much lower and slightly higher than Europe. So the rate predicted for North America is lower than what? Lower compared to what? Than the world's.
Yeah.
Yes. And slightly higher, which means this one, slightly higher or lower than Europe's. What do you think?
Lower.
Lower, because Europe is 9 and this poor country, North America, is 6. I said slightly, yeah. Is it wrong to say slightly?
Slightly also means one, maybe.
Okay. In contrast, the rate predicted for North America is much lower than the world's, as well as Europe's rate of 9%. Why I try to put Europe into the puzzle? Because I don't want to just say Europe's rate was 9%. I want to find a way to compare it to the other information. So in contrast, the rate predicted for North America is much lower than the world's, as well as lower than Europe's rates of 9%. So do you understand now how you have to do the exercise? So Control F, browse. All in all, or in conclusion, or to sum up. Just a moment, not to lose the document. So all in all, or in conclusion. Another word to conclude, or to conclude.
In summary.
In summary, to sum up. What are the main features, guys? First of all, you need to compare 2 things, the red and the blue overall. This is the main, Georgia. What is the most striking observation that you can say by looking at the graph overall? There is a very striking observation when you look at it, when you look at the big picture.
The expected rate will be much higher than nowadays.
Bravo, bravo. So it seems like the future is better than the present. It looks like the growth rate of global wealth are expected to increase. But the increase will be most significant in which country? In which continent? Yeah? In Africa. Okay, okay. So you got the main point. So so to sum up, the present growth rates, which are the red ones, okay, of global wealth between the given years, I'm gonna say again the same, between the given years, are expected to increase in but the increase or the rise will be most eminent, prominent, profound, and donos. Significant in which continents? In which continents will do better in the future? In Asia and
Africa.
And foremostly Africa.
Europe
Why is it? No. Not Europe. Is sorry. Is Africa who is gonna do the best in the future, and then Asia. 14 and 12, Michael. Europe is fourth, not even third. So yeah, Asia and foremostly Africa. So who is talking to me? I have to finish the lesson as well. I've got another class. Everyone has to go. Everyone needs to go. What is your homework? To do it with a fresh look. Now that you know. Macomo, now you can give it another shot. What do I advise you to do? Read it very thoroughly, very carefully, then close your book, look at the graph only, of course, and try to do it on your own after reading the sample very well. Okay, Michael, I'm going to look at your essay later. I'm going to send it back to you, okay?
Yes, okay.
Have a good evening. See you next time.
Goodbye.
Bye, Constantinos. Bye, Michael. Bye-bye.